It's Friday, May 21, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. There were long lines at gas stations around the island today as Barbadians filled up their tanks, following a notice issued by the Petroleum Dealers Association of Barbados, which said some stations would be closed on Sunday and Monday. Association President Aldo Ho Kong King told Barbados Today the move is not an initiative of the association, and he made it clear that some stations will open at the weekend to serve Barbadians. Dealers have been pressing the government to allow them to operate their marts on Sundays and holidays, saying the closure because of COVID-19 protocols have severely hurt their revenue. They explain that it is too costly at the weekends to merely provide fuel. Attorney General Dale Marshall, however, turned down the request earlier this week. In other news this Friday, major upgrades are on the cards for the island's fish markets as part of government's plan to modernize the sector. Word of this from Minister of Maritime Affairs and Blue Economy, Kurt Humphrey, at today's official opening of the Pearl Bay Fish Landing Facility. The new facility at Tent Bay provides access for disabled persons, a green space, photovoltaic panels on the newly constructed building, and proper lighting that will not attract turtles into the road.
So if you look at all of the markets, starting from Tent Bay, we renovated Tent Bay. We came down to Oystins, we renovated Oystins. We came to Bridgetown, renovated Bridgetown. Here we are now at Pearl Bay, renovating Pearl Bay. We've also done Spikestown. You've just heard the chairman say we are about to do Western. The ministry will do Paynes Bay and Concept Bay. That will be all of the fisheries departments under the ministry in the period of 3 years. So I say that to say that we have made a commitment to transform the industry and we have put our money where our mouths are.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley says our government is committed to facilitating the growth of the fisheries sector.
It is why almost every fish market has been attended to as a priority by this government. It is why we have gone to Parliament late last year to get the money to do the fishing, the FADs, the fish aggregation devices, a lot of fancy words for a simple thing that is a piece of metal in the sea that the fish can come round. But the beauty of it, that by putting it there, it means that men don't have to waste diesel looking for where the fish gathering, because we are creating opportunities for the fish to gather in a particular space. And I believe we've done 20 of them that are being put around the entire jurisdiction of this maritime jurisdiction of this nation. In addition to that, you heard Kirk talk about the phytosanitary measures. This country has been unable to export fish to Europe because of a failure to be able to have the appropriate standards in our fish markets and the legislative framework. We have been working assiduously, as you've heard, to put those appropriate standards in place, and we are also working assiduously to get the legislation in place so that our fishermen can sustainably and responsibly fish.
Free Palestine. That's the message scores from the Muslim community issued today as they lined the streets of Culloden Road, St. Michael. During the rally, attorney-at-law Lalu Hanuman, the Secretary of the Caribbean Against Apartheid in Palestine, delivered a letter to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, calling on Minister Dr. Jerome Walker to begin the process of Barbados establishing diplomatic recognition of the State of Palestine. Hanuman told members of the media that government's decision to recognize Palestine as a state is the right thing to do. He lamented that for more than 70 years, Palestinians have been forced to live under an apartheid regime with its knee on their necks.
But Palestine geographically is closer to Barbados than was South Africa. And both Archbishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa and Nelson Mandela are on record as saying what is happening in Palestine is much worse in terms of apartheid than what happened in South Africa. And we're ignoring it. We're ignoring it. Why are we ignoring it? We have to take a firm position and demand that the Barbadian government recognizes Palestine. It's totally unacceptable. The genocide being daily against the Palestinian people, it needs to stop. And the only way it can stop is if we collectively demand that the Zionist knee be taken off the Palestinian neck so they can breathe.
Secretary of the Barbados Muslim Association Suleiman Balboulia condemned what he called the naked aggression by Israel on the people of Palestine for 73 years. He also made a case for Barbados to recognize the state of Palestine.
The latest nail in the coffin was during our blessed month and holy month of Ramadan that has just finished about 2 weeks ago, when in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, in the holiest nights, in the holiest of holiest places for Muslims and Christians and Jews, while Muslims were at prayer on that night, Israeli soldiers came in heavily armed with their boots and they ransacked the Masjid al-Aqsa where people were at prayer peacefully. They shot rubber bullets, they shot tear gas, they injured hundreds of people in that place of prayer, including women and children. We are here today to show solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Palestine. We are here today to stand up and say 73 years of this naked aggression must come to an end. We are also here today because Barbados has to recognize the state of Palestine. It's been long in coming. Many CARICOM countries have already done so. Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, issued a stirring statement condemning the actions of the Israelis. The Barbados government must now follow suit and recognize Palestine as a state. If we are saying that a two-state solution is what is going to be the solution for this issue, then we can't just recognize one state. We have to recognize the state of Palestine.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, Guyana's Vice President Barrack Jagdeo today rolled out new plans to stem rising crime. Here are the details from Newsroom Guyana.
Vice President Dr. Barrack Jagdeo on Friday expressed concern with the crime situation in the country, assuring that the government has taken steps to tackle the problem that has caused disquiet among citizens. During a press conference at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, Dr. Jagdeo said there is a plan being rolled out to tackle crime. Providing brief details on the plan, Dr. Jagdeo said the government was looking at resuscitating and expanding the Smart City Surveillance Program, which will allow for the recording of activities in several areas across the country that will be monitored through a command center.
Resuscitating the Smart City Program because it's all in chaos and it's limited to 265 cameras, but taking this across the country and with a capability of monitoring and operating it so you can see what's going on. It would help a lot. That means we'd have to pass new laws about privacy, etc., but it's a law enforcement tool that would be crucial in managing, etc.
The Vice President also said that the government intends to ensure that the local forensic laboratory at Turkine East Coast Demerara is fully staffed to support the police, offering a boost to its investigative capabilities.
On the international front, an uneasy ceasefire between Israel and Hamas came into effect on Friday after a deadly 11-day conflict with both sides claiming victory and experts warning that the seeds of another bloody confrontation between Israelis and Palestinians have already been sown.
Shortly before the ceasefire came into force at 2 a.m. local time, double doors were swung open at the White House. The US president was eager to applaud the deal, calling it a genuine opportunity.
I believe the Palestinians and Israelis equally deserve to live safely and securely and to enjoy equal measures of freedom, prosperity, and democracy. My administration will continue our quiet, relentless diplomacy toward that end.
The US State Department has announced that Secretary of State Anthony Blinken will head to the Middle East in the days ahead to meet with Israeli, Palestinian and regional counterparts. This is a pause in fighting that's also been welcomed by the UN's Secretary General, who's offered his condolences to the victims' loved ones and praised the mediators who helped usher in this calm.
I commend Egypt and Qatar for the efforts carried out in close coordination with the UN to help restore calm to Gaza and Israel, and I call on all sides to observe the ceasefire.
And Egypt, the country which has played such a key role in forging this halt in hostilities, has told the UN General Assembly that Cairo will not only monitor the peace, but, like Washington, will also help with recovery efforts.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.